The universe's biggest joke, think again. Humanity was often dismissed by the galaxy's more advanced species. They were short, unimpressive creatures with none of the extraordinary traits that other races possessed. No razor-sharp claws, armored shells, or even exceptional intellect. They were considered average in every sense. When they first reached post-FTL status, they were given basic communication devices and the standard warnings about interfering with other races. Most species would have been satisfied with this, but not the humans. They shrugged off the warnings and continued expanding their small empire. While other races found their niche and settled into a life of ease, humans were different. Their history was one of struggle and perseverance. From their earliest days, they had faced challenges that would have broken most species. But instead of succumbing, they thrived on adversity. It was this tenacity that set them apart, even if the galaxy didn't realize it yet. As humanity expanded, they encountered more advanced species, each with their own strengths. The Court UA were technologically brilliant, the Toro were efficient beyond measure, and the Abari were known for their unmatched beauty. Yet, despite these differences, humans continued to grow, adapt, and survive. Their persistence was their greatest weapon, something no other race could fully understand. Over time, the humans' empire grew, and they began to carve out their place in the galaxy. They were still considered inferior by most, but they didn't care. They were focused on something bigger. The galaxy watched, amused, as the humans slowly but surely built something more significant than anyone could have anticipated. The first real test came during what the humans would later call the 22nd War. The galaxy was at peace, or so it seemed, but beneath the surface, tensions were brewing. When the war broke out, the galaxy's more powerful races expected to crush humanity swiftly. But the humans had other plans. They had been preparing for this moment, and they were ready. The war was brutal. The humans faced overwhelming odds, but they fought with a determination that shocked their enemies. They used every trick, every piece of technology, and every ounce of strength they had. They weren't the fastest, the strongest, or the smartest, but they were the most stubborn. They refused to give up, even when defeat seemed inevitable. The turning point came when the humans deployed a weapon they had designed to level the playing field. It was a primitive device, an EMP on steroids, capable of rendering all technology useless. The humans knew it would hit friend and foe alike, but they didn't care. They were willing to do whatever it took to survive. The EMP worked, but it also wiped out most of the galaxy's advanced technology, pushing everyone back to a pre-FTL state. While other races panicked, the humans adapted. They had always been more comfortable with low-tech solutions, and now they had the advantage. They fought tooth and nail for every inch of ground, refusing to surrender. As the war dragged on, the galaxy's other races began to realize that they had underestimated humanity. The humans were relentless, and their tenacity was unmatched. They fought until their last breath, and even then, they didn't give up. When the enemy finally reached Earth's doorstep, humanity made one last, desperate stand. The final transmission from Earth was short and to the point. "No, we find your courage lacking." Then, in a shocking move, the humans detonated a massive bomb, destroying their homeworld and taking the enemy with it. It was a sacrifice that no other race could have fathomed, but for humanity, it was a necessary step to ensure their survival. The galaxy was left in awe. The humans had done the unthinkable. They had destroyed their own world to win the war. It was a victory that came at a tremendous cost, but it also earned them a place among the galaxy's most powerful races. They had proven that they were more than just a joke. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The relentless drive of humanity. The galaxy reeled from the shock of Earth's destruction. It wasn't just the scale of the devastation that left other species speechless. It was the sheer audacity of the act. The idea of annihilating one's own homeworld was beyond comprehension for most. Yet, the humans had done it without hesitation, choosing to obliterate everything rather than submit. The repercussions were immediate. In the aftermath, the galaxy's survivors could not comprehend how such a seemingly insignificant species could display such unyielding resolve. The humans' actions were a testament to their relentless drive, a drive that had been underestimated for far too long. What other species viewed as an extreme, last-ditch effort was, for the humans, just another step in their ongoing struggle for survival. With Earth gone, the remnants of humanity scattered across their far-flung colonies. These small, isolated outposts now held the last of the human race, but they were far from defeated. In fact, the destruction of Earth only seemed to strengthen their resolve. They had nothing left to lose, and this made them more dangerous than ever. As the humans regrouped, they began to rebuild. They scoured the wreckage of the enemy fleet, salvaging whatever they could to piece together a new future. While the other races were still recovering from the shock of the war, humanity was already moving forward. They adapted, innovated, and evolved, using their innate creativity to turn the tide in their favor. The galaxy's survivors watched in awe as the humans, who had lost so much, began to rise from the ashes. Their determination to rebuild was unmatched. They had faced the worst and emerged stronger. The humans weren't just survivors, they were conquerors, shaped by the fire of their trials into something new, something that the galaxy had never seen before. In this new era, humanity's strength became apparent to all. The galaxy's most advanced races, once dismissive of the bold monkeys, now recognized them as equals, perhaps even as superiors. The humans' relentless drive to push forward, to innovate, and to survive against all odds had proven them to be a species unlike any other. As humanity continued to expand and rebuild, they began to reach out to other species. They sought allies among the stars, not through conquest, but through cooperation. They shared their hard-earned knowledge and technology, showing the galaxy that there was another way forward, a way that valued tenacity, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. But humanity's journey was far from over. They knew that the galaxy was still full of dangers, and they would need to be ready for whatever came next. The destruction of Earth had taught them that survival required more than just strength. It required adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to make the ultimate sacrifice. As the wars raged across the galaxy, the humans found themselves at a critical juncture. They were not the strongest, the fastest, or the most technologically advanced, but they had something no other race seemed to understand: an unyielding resolve. The Zaluk, a race known for their brute strength and advanced military strategies, had severely underestimated the humans. They had expected them to surrender quickly, unable to withstand the might of their forces. But instead, the humans fought back with a tenacity that left the Zaluk commanders puzzled and increasingly frustrated. In the depths of space, aboard the human flagship Resolute, Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the battlefield. The humans had been pushed to their limits, but they were holding the line, refusing to give in. The crew around her was exhausted, their faces showing the strain of constant battles. Yet there was a fire in their eyes, a determination that refused to be extinguished. Captain Vasquez knew that this was their edge, that unrelenting spirit. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but firm. "Shields at 40%, ammunition running low, but we're holding steady," reported Lieutenant Malik, his hands moving swiftly over the controls. "The Zaluk fleet is regrouping for another attack." Vasquez nodded. They had been through this before, and they would go through it again. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We can't afford to take any more direct hits." The ship shook violently as the Zaluk fleet launched another barrage. The crew braced themselves, holding onto their stations as the Resolute weaved through the incoming fire. "We've lost contact with the Valiant," Malik said, his voice heavy with the weight of the news. Captain Vasquez closed her eyes briefly, mourning the loss of yet another ship, another crew. But there was no time to dwell on it. "We'll honor them later. Right now, we focus on survival." As the battle dragged on, the Zaluk forces began to show signs of fatigue. They were used to quick, decisive victories, not drawn-out wars of attrition. The humans, however, had fought tooth and nail for every inch of ground. They had nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. "Captain, incoming transmission from the Zaluk flagship," Malik announced, his voice tinged with surprise. Vasquez straightened, her gaze hardening. "Put it through." The face of the Zaluk commander appeared on the screen, his features twisted in anger and disbelief. "Human, this is your last chance to surrender. You cannot win this fight." Captain Vasquez met his gaze with cold determination. "Surrender is not in our nature, Commander. We may not have your strength or technology, but we have something far more powerful, our will, and as long as we stand, we will never give up." The Zaluk commander sneered, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. He had expected fear, desperation, but what he saw was resolve. It was unsettling. "Very well, human. You have sealed your fate." The commander spat before cutting the transmission. "Prepare for their final assault," Vasquez ordered, her voice steady. "We're going to make them regret underestimating us." The crew responded with a unified resolve, their fear replaced with a fierce determination. They knew the odds were against them, but they also knew they had something the Zaluk would never understand: a purpose, a belief in something greater than themselves. The Zaluk fleet moved in for the kill, but the humans fought back with everything they had. They used their ingenuity to turn the tide, employing tactics that the Zaluk couldn't anticipate. It was a brutal, bloody battle, but in the end, the humans stood victorious. The Zaluk, battered and broken, retreated. They had learned a hard lesson: never underestimate humanity. What they lacked in physical prowess, they more than made up for in spirit, and that, as the galaxy would soon learn, was the unexpected edge that made humanity a force to be reckoned with. As the Resolute limped back to safe space, Captain Vasquez allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. They had won, but the cost had been high. Yet, there was no time for rest. The galaxy was vast, and there were more battles to be fought. But now, humanity had proven that they were not to be trifled with. "Set course for the next engagement," she ordered, her voice filled with the unyielding determination that had become humanity's trademark. "We're just getting started." And with that, the humans moved forward, their spirits unbroken, their resolve stronger than ever. They had faced the universe's biggest joke and turned it on its head, and in doing so, they had found their greatest strength, their refusal to ever give up. The rising tide of human defiance. The victory over the Zaluk was a turning point, but it was far from the end of humanity's struggle. The galaxy was vast, filled with races that had once seen humans as nothing more than a curiosity, an odd species that had somehow stumbled into the ranks of spacefaring civilizations. Now, however, they viewed humanity with a mixture of fear and respect. The humans had proven that they could stand against even the most formidable foes, and that made them dangerous. As word of the battle spread, other alien races began to take notice. Some saw an opportunity to ally with this tenacious species, hoping to benefit from their ingenuity and determination. Others, however, saw humanity as a threat that needed to be eradicated before it could grow any stronger. The Council of Elders, a powerful conglomerate of the galaxy's oldest and most advanced civilizations, called an emergency meeting to discuss the human problem. For centuries, they had maintained peace and order in the galaxy through diplomacy and, when necessary, force. But humanity had thrown their carefully balanced system into disarray. On the crystalline planet of Lysara, the council convened. Representatives from the most influential races gathered in the Grand Chamber, a colossal structure made of shimmering, iridescent material that reflected the stars. The elders, towering beings of immense wisdom and power, took their places at the head of the assembly. "The humans have defied our expectations," began Elder Zoreth, his voice resonating through the chamber like a deep bell. "They have proven themselves more resilient and resourceful than we anticipated. This cannot be ignored." Elder Mirius, a being of pure energy, flickered with agitation. "They are a destabilizing force. Their defiance could inspire other races to challenge our authority. We must act swiftly to contain this threat. But how? Questioned Elder Caliph, her serpentine form coiling in thought. The humans are unlike any other species we've encountered. They adapt, they evolve, and most dangerously, they do not fear death. Any direct confrontation could lead to unforeseen consequences. The council fell silent, each member lost in contemplation. They were not used to being outmaneuvered, especially by a species they had considered inferior. But the humans had shown that they were willing to pay any price for their freedom, and that made them unpredictable. As the debate raged on Lysara, humanity was already preparing for the next inevitable conflict. On Earth, the capital of the Human Federation, leaders from across the planet gathered to discuss their next move. They knew that their victory over the Zalok would not go unanswered. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and they needed to be ready for whatever came next. President Anna Sterling, a leader known for her sharp mind and unwavering resolve, stood at the head of the table in the underground war room. The walls were lined with screens displaying data from across the galaxy, ship movements, intelligence reports, and potential threats. Around her sat military leaders, scientists, and strategists, each one a master in their field. The Council of Elders will not let our victory over the Zalok go unchallenged, Sterling began, her voice cutting through the room with authority. We must be ready for their response. We've made our mark, but the real test is yet to come. General Marcus Hayes, a grizzled veteran of countless battles, leaned forward. We've learned a lot from our encounter with the Zalok. They underestimated us because they didn't understand what drives us. But the Council, they're different. They've kept the galaxy in check for millennia. They won't make the same mistake. Sterling nodded. That's why we need to be smarter, faster, and more unified than ever. We can't rely on brute strength alone. We need to outthink them, outmaneuver them, and above all, we need to stay true to what makes us human, our refusal to surrender. In the days that followed, humanity's greatest minds worked tirelessly to prepare for the coming storm. New technologies were developed, alliances were forged with sympathetic races, and defenses were strengthened across the Federation. There was a palpable sense of urgency, a collective understanding that they were on the brink of something monumental. On the outskirts of the Sol system, hidden deep within the asteroid belt, the humans constructed a new kind of weapon, one born from the lessons of their past battles. It was a weapon of last resort, designed not to destroy their enemies, but to ensure that humanity would never be conquered. The project was kept in utmost secrecy, known only to a select few. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's defiance spread. Some races, long oppressed by the Council, began to see the humans as a symbol of hope, a spark that could ignite a rebellion against the old order. Others, however, grew increasingly wary, fearing what a human-led galaxy might look like. As the tension mounted, the Council of Elders made their move. They sent a fleet, larger and more advanced than anything humanity had faced before, to the edges of human space. The message was clear: submit or be annihilated. But humanity had already made its choice. They would fight, not just for their survival, but for their right to exist on their terms. As the Council's fleet approached, the human forces gathered, ready to defend their home. The atmosphere was tense, but there was no fear, only determination. President Sterling addressed the Federation from the heart of Earth, her voice broadcast across the galaxy. We stand at the precipice of history. The Council believes they can break us, but they do not understand what it means to be human. We are more than flesh and bone. We are the embodiment of will, of resilience, of a belief that freedom is worth any cost. They may outnumber us, they may outgun us, but they will never outlast us. Together, we will show them that humanity cannot be tamed. The final confrontation was inevitable. The Council's fleet descended upon human space, their ships blotting out the stars. But humanity was ready. They had prepared for this moment, not just with weapons, but with the unbreakable spirit that had defined them since their earliest days. As the first shots were fired, it became clear that this was not just a battle for survival. It was a battle for the soul of the galaxy, a fight to determine whether the old order would continue to dominate, or if a new human-led era would rise from the ashes. The galaxy watched in suspense as the two forces clashed, and through it all, the humans fought with a single, unyielding cry that echoed across the stars. Hold the line, the final stand. The battle was fierce, with the Council's fleet unleashing its full might upon humanity. Yet, the humans held their ground, each ship a testament to their resolve. The skies above Earth burned with the light of 1,000 explosions, but the human spirit remained unbroken. In the heart of the conflict, General Hayes led the defense, orchestrating every move with precision. He knew this was more than just a fight for survival. It was a fight for their future. The new weapon, hidden within the asteroid belt, remained their last hope, a secret that could turn the tide. As the Council's ships closed in, President Sterling made a desperate decision. She ordered the activation of the secret weapon, a device that would send a massive EMP pulse across the galaxy, disabling technology but sparing life. It was a gambit, a message to the Council that humanity would not be conquered. The pulse was unleashed, and in an instant, the Council's fleet was crippled, their ships drifting powerless in space. The battle was over, not through destruction, but through human ingenuity and sacrifice. The Council, humbled and defeated, withdrew, recognizing that humanity was not a force to be trifled with. The galaxy had changed forever, with humanity proving that their spirit could not be crushed. In the aftermath, the humans rebuilt, stronger and more united than ever. They had held the line, and in doing so, they had secured their place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as a species that refused to bow to tyranny. A new dawn. With the Council's retreat, humanity stood victorious, but the cost had been great. Cities lay in ruins, and countless lives had been lost. Yet, from the ashes of destruction, a new resolve emerged. Humanity had proven their worth, not just to the galaxy, but to themselves. As the dust settled, President Sterling addressed the survivors. Her voice, though wary, carried the weight of their collective resilience. We have faced the darkest of days and emerged stronger. This is our time to rebuild, to create a future where our children can live free from fear. We will rise from this stronger, united in our purpose. Around the world, people began the arduous task of rebuilding. The remnants of the Council's fleet were repurposed, their technology integrated into human society. The alliance forged in the fires of war now focused on restoring what had been lost, using the lessons learned to create a better world. General Hayes, now hailed as a hero, led efforts to fortify Earth and its colonies. Humanity knew that peace was fragile, and they prepared for the day when they might need to defend it once more. But for now, they embraced the hard-won peace, grateful for the chance to rebuild. Across the galaxy, other species watched humanity with a new respect. The once dismissed race of Earth had shown that their greatest strength lay not in their technology, but in their unyielding spirit. They had stood against overwhelming odds and had emerged victorious. In the following years, humanity expanded their reach, not as conquerors, but as explorers and diplomats. They sought out new alliances, shared their knowledge, and worked to prevent the horrors of war from returning. The galaxy, once divided, began to heal, with humanity playing a key role in fostering unity. As they ventured into the stars, humanity carried with them the lessons of the past. They understood that their greatest weapon was not in their arsenal, but in their hearts. The universe had seen their strength, and now it would see their compassion. The scars of the war remained, but they served as a reminder of what had been fought for. Humanity had endured, and now they would lead by example, showing the galaxy that even in the face of annihilation, the human spirit could never be extinguished. Legacy of the unyielding years passed, and the galaxy entered a new era of peace and cooperation. The memory of the war remained vivid, a reminder of the resilience and strength humanity had shown. Earth had become a symbol of hope, a beacon for those who sought a future free from the shadows of tyranny. In a solemn ceremony held on Earth, Leaders from across the galaxy gathered to honor the fallen and celebrate the new alliances forged in the aftermath of the conflict. The rebuilt city stood tall, a testament to humanity's ability to rise from the ashes. President Sterling, now revered as one of the greatest leaders in human history, stood before the gathered crowd. She spoke of the trials they had endured, the sacrifices made, and the unity that had emerged from the darkness. Her voice was filled with hope as she looked toward the future. We stand here today, not just as humans, but as citizens of the galaxy. We have proven that strength is not measured by power alone, but by the will to stand against adversity, to fight for what is right, and to never give up. Let this be our legacy, a legacy of unity, resilience, and unwavering determination. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing across the newly rebuilt capital. Among them were veterans of the war, those who had fought to defend their home and ensure that future generations could live in peace. They looked on with pride, knowing that their efforts had not been in vain. As the ceremony came to a close, General Hayes, now a statesman, stood beside President Sterling. Together, they unveiled a monument dedicated to the courage of all who had fought in the war. The monument, a towering statue of a human figure holding a torch, symbolized a light of hope that had guided them through the darkest times. The monument's inscription read, "In the face of oblivion, we held the line. We are the unyielding, and our light will never fade." As the sun set on Earth, casting a golden glow over the monument, a new generation looked up at the stars with wonder. They knew that the universe was vast and full of challenges, but they also knew that they were part of a legacy of strength and perseverance. The human spirit, unbreakable and unyielding, would continue to shine across the galaxy. And so, humanity's journey continued, not as conquerors, but as protectors and explorers, forever guided by the indomitable will that had carried them through their darkest hour. The story of their struggle and triumph would be told for generations, inspiring those who would follow in their footsteps to always reach for the stars.